Now, Channel 3 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
It was absolutely incredible. I was like, wow, the whole middle just came down.
Breaking news right now at 5. Blocks of a major city in our state now shut down after a church collapse.
Take a look at these incredible images coming out of New London tonight. Really just unbelievable. Officials there expected to give us an update any minute, and of course we will bring that to you live. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on a busy Thursday night. I'm Erin Connolly.
Hi everybody, I'm Mark Zinni. This is all happening right now on Union Street. People there are being asked to avoid that area right now altogether. We begin with team coverage from the scene where there is still a major emergency response in the area.
Let's get right over to Channel 3's Susan Raff, who joins us live with the latest. Quite a scene there behind you, Susan.
Quite a scene. We are live in downtown New London, and we are waiting for an update from New London Mayor Mike Passero. That's expected in a few minutes, but we wanted to give you a sense of exactly what is happening right now. You can see this is a very old historic church, and this afternoon, a majority of that roof suddenly collapsed. What caused it to cave in, we just don't know. That is under investigation. But the big focus right away was to make sure that there were no injuries, no one inside the building at the time. We are told that a woman was inside the church during the collapse. She heard a very loud noise. She was working in a food pantry. She got out of the building. That we do know. And at this point, they do not believe that anyone else was inside the building. But again, they want to make sure. So if you look, you can see the crane there. That's from a fire truck. They are looking inside. We do know that Governor Lamont has sent extra security or extra crews, emergency crews, dogs to search the rubble. They're also trying to make sure that the building is safe to be around. All the streets around here have been blocked off because they don't want any more stones to actually fall down. But people from all over this area have come to look at this because this is a huge part of this community. It's a very old church. There are 2 congregations in here, and for that part of our team coverage tonight, we want to go to New London Bureau Chief Luke Hydash.
Yeah, Susan, a lot to talk about when it comes to these 2 specific churches here within this one worship site. Let's go ahead and look back at the damage here. We have 2 churches within this, and the pastor here says, of course, their church may be destroyed, but their church is still strong. We have been talking to members of the church, parishioners who have been showing up, of course, understandably, very upset to see their worship site in crumbles, quite literally. Not only is this a church where people come just on Sunday, but this is a place where throughout the week, people who are less fortunate are fed. That is a big mission of the pastor here, to feed the people who need food and need a place to stay during the week. And that is really going an extra step beyond, of course, just what a church is on Sunday service. And that is why so many people from this community know and have a connection to this building. As far as the building itself, it is a place that a lot of people in New London recognize. It is a place that is very close to the center of downtown, a place that people who, when they're getting off the train tracks, recognize. Down at the Amtrak station, going to the ferry, you can see the steeple from down there. So it is a very recognizable part of New London and something that a lot of people think about when they come to this area. Susan.
You know, you mentioned that. It is a very good thing that there were not services in time, or at the time that this was happening. It's during an off-peak hour, and especially because you have 2 congregations here who use this building. So it is a good thing that didn't happen. But I do know that people are very concerned because this building has been destroyed and it's going to have to come down. They can't save it.
Yeah, there's not much left they can do. The pastor here at the church posted on Blind that they are going to have to take down the rest of the church here because just looking at the damage, obviously very difficult to repair something of this. And like you said, part of the job that crews is doing now is making sure that nothing else is going to come down, because you do have part of the church still standing at this point.
And we're really just waiting to find out, obviously, if people, you know, are inside, but we don't believe that at this time. And, you know, how this building was going to have to come down. And the big question is, how did this happen? I mean, I believe this is an old slate roof. How does something like that happen?
That is something we're hoping to learn at that press conference here from Mike Passero and other New London officials. All day long since we got here, 3 o'clock-ish or so, you've had that fire ladder truck up with people looking at it, holding perch over it, seeing and making sure nobody was underneath that rubble. But that has just come down in the last 10 minutes or so as we await for that update from the New London mayor, New London police chief, so on and so forth.
So as we're waiting for Mayor Mike Passero to come out and give an update, we're going to throw it back to you in in the studio, and as soon as the mayor comes, we will bring it to you live so you can understand exactly what's happening here, and we will have an update. For now, we are live in New London. Susan Raff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Susan and Luke, just incredible coverage, and what a scene right there. Still so active. We'll see you again coming up in just moments. Now, within the past hour, the governor released a statement saying, in part, I'm in communication with state police and emergency management officials regarding the church collapse in New London, and we have deployed state emergency services personnel and equipment to assist in response efforts.
Congressman Joe Courtney, whose district includes New London, shared this statement. I spoke to New London Mayor Passero, who described a strong, thorough effort by first responders to make sure that first reports of no injury are confirmed. Our office will continue to monitor developments, and we stand ready to help if federal assistance is needed.
Now, obviously, this is a major breaking story happening right now. Be sure to download the WFSB app. As soon as this happened earlier today, it was sent right to your phone, and we started receiving pictures from many of you on the scene in New London.
And again, we are still waiting to learn a lot of information. You just heard from Luke and Susan. Officials are supposed to address the media within a few minutes. As soon as that press conference begins, we will bring it to you live.
All right, and weather-wise, a break in the action and even a few breaks in the clouds this afternoon across Connecticut. First Alert Live radar scanning dry for the time being, but as our active weather pattern continues, it will be filling back in with rain later on this evening and especially tonight. But in the meantime, the showers from earlier clearly moving offshore. A few breaks in the clouds this afternoon. Temperatures, they popped into the low and mid-50s, a little bit higher than we were initially expecting. We were thinking it was going to be mild. And note, off to our north, cool air not far from us. 40 Boston, 39 in Keene, New Hampshire. So we're on the cusp of some of that cooler air as the boundary wavers all week long. We're going to be on the cooler side of it for tomorrow. So this evening, in the meantime, temperatures slowly dropping through the 40s. And here's First Alert Futurecast showing as we head toward 10, 11 o'clock tonight, showers begin to overspread the state. We've got periods of rain overnight into the early morning hours of our Friday. So the morning commute could be a little bit wet, but generally speaking, conditions will be improving with showers wrapping up by, say, midday. But otherwise, our Friday will be cloudy through the afternoon, and temperatures, again, noticeably cooler, but still above average as we top out near 40 inland, between 40 and 45 at the shoreline. We'll have much more on a first alert for the upcoming weekend that involves more rain that will end as snow that could be accumulating, perhaps plowable. Much more ahead in the First Alert 7-day.
So we're hoping that you can help us find out what happened to Jack.
Grilled by detectives today, jurors got to watch and listen to the first of 3 long interviews Michelle Troconis did with police investigators.
Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live from Stamford Superior Court with today's details. Matt.
Well, Mark and Aaron, that first interview lasting 2 hours, 45 minutes. It's from June 2nd, 2019. And we're just going to send back to the anchors for some breaking news.
Okay, Matt, thank you very much. We were just made aware ourselves that the mayor of New London is now addressing the media.
Let's listen in live.
Fortunately, at this time, we do not believe that there's been any loss of life associated with this incident. We are working diligently to confirm that, but we have good intelligence and surveillance that is keeping us optimistic. However, the site is still being evaluated by engineers and the urban search and rescue team, and we do not have obviously access to search the rubble at this time. I want to express my thanks to the governor for all the support we received from the state. There are officials from Region 4 DEMIS here. We have officials from DEP, the Urban Search and Rescue team, and the state police. I want to thank the amazing work of our local police department and fire department for their response, and also Public Works. As you can imagine, this the last few hours in the city since this happened around 1:30 in the afternoon have been all hands on deck. And we are continuing and expect to be here throughout the night. Right now, the status is the building next door, the Man-Waring building, which serves as dorms for the Connecticut College students, that has been evacuated. However, we have engineers have deemed it to be structurally safe, So we're thankful for that. They have been temporarily housed in the Holiday Inn, and we expect that they'll be displaced for at least through the weekend. We do not have any other structures that were affected, and right now we are moved. Well, we have a demolition contractor on board, waiting for further engineering confirmation that at least the two steeples that remain will have to be taken down immediately, and a determination on the rest of the building. Obviously, though, as you can see, we're expecting that this building is a total loss.
Any indication what could have caused the collapse?
We do not have a determination at this time. The Fire Marshal's office is working with the State Fire Marshal and with the state building official and with our building officials. We do have some surveillance video that actually captures the collapse, and it'll be some time before that determination is made.
And what kind of effort is underway to take down this building? I mean, this is a huge structure. You mentioned the two steeples. Will you need outside help to do that?
Yes, absolutely. We have a contractor on site. We expect that they will be mobilizing, which should take probably a good 5 or 6 hours, and we do have plans to have the portions of the building that are deemed to be unsafe demolished.
We're hearing there was a woman in the building at the time when it collapsed. She's also okay?
Yes. The fire department, when they first responded, encountered one individual in the building, which is part of the intelligence that has led us to believe that nobody else is in the building. She was escorted out of the building. She's safe, and she's reported that nobody else was in the building.
And is this structure regularly inspected?
It's inspected for fire purposes. It is not inspected for there isn't any routine building inspection. So we have not had time to determine if there was any recent inspections of the building structurally.
And no indication, no sounds, no creaking, no crumbling, nothing that would lead you to believe that something was wrong with this building?
No, there was no indication by the congregation or by the city that there was anything wrong with this building.
Are you concerned that when you start taking down the building that could cause problems for other nearby buildings?
Nothing that isn't associated with this building. There's a one-story addition, modern addition on the back of the building that was not affected directly by the collapse, but it, we're hoping that the demolition process will not affect that portion of the building.
Mayor, were you in your office at the time of the incident? If so, can you talk us through, what you heard, what you saw?
I was at the Rotary Lunch 1 block up the street at Thames Club, so I cannot tell you that.
Can you talk about what searches, if any, are happening right now and what is hampering any potential search of that rubble?
We have the USAR team on site, we have the state police, and we have search dogs. They cannot send the search dogs in until they determine that the pile is stable and those two remaining steeples are not going to fall. We expect to have word on that momentarily. The engineer is on the site, and that may have been determined by now.
So you expect the demolition to take place tonight? Throughout the night?
The demolition will start as soon as the demolition company is mobilized.
With the building this old, any concern about asbestos, lead paint, chemicals?
That's why DEP is on site, and I've been advised that the process is it's all considered to be contaminated until proven otherwise. So DEP has set up monitoring stations around the site. They have not detected any contamination at this point that's a risk to the general public. However, they have set up those monitoring sites to make sure that there is no risk, ongoing risk.
Was there any work being done on the steeple or on the church recently?
No. To our knowledge, there's no building permits or any work being done on this structure.
And this is an active church with an active congregation. I guess talk about how lucky it is that this happened not while a sermon was happening.
Oh, you can count the luck involved in this a million ways. The building was empty. There was no services. The building fell in upon itself. It did not fall, for instance, onto State Street, onto the dormitory to the west, or onto City Hall to the east. Assuming that we can confirm that there's been no loss of life, the city was extremely fortunate in the manner of the collapse. It could have been a much bigger disaster for us. However, we did lose a cherished historic structure.
Is it possible this was a gas explosion?
Right now, it's all preliminary, but they do not believe it was anything other than a structural collapse.
We heard that the homeless really relies on this church to get their food. They do meals. Is that still going to continue in light of what happened?
The part of the building is the addition in the back. It's the modern addition, and it is also not going to be usable. But there are other services in this city and other meal centers that will be able to pick up the slack.
Mayor, what's your final message to the city, the residents, and also the faith community tonight?
The final message is that we're fortunate to have great resources that can mobilize quickly when something like this happens. To the congregation that lost their church, we will work with them. We will help them to get relocated. So obviously, nothing will be able to replace the hole now in our skyline, by the loss of this building. But the city is resilient. Don't forget, Benedict Donald burnt us to the ground 300 years ago, and we survived that. We've survived much since, and we will rebound from this loss. Any other questions?
Are you releasing that video of the collapse?
I don't have the video. I believe it's part of the investigation, so that would be a question for any of the individuals behind me. This is an amazing team that has been on the job since early this afternoon, assisting, and the city certainly couldn't have done it without all the resources that we have locally and the resources that were sent by the state of Connecticut.
Is the fire department doing the investigation?
Our fire marshal office will be doing the investigation, leading the investigation.
Is there any inspection protocol for buildings that are this old?
I can't answer that question. And I don't believe the building inspector is here at the moment. Now, the building inspector is on the site.
Have you talked to the pastors of either of the churches that are there?
Just briefly, they've been here throughout the afternoon.
Can you tell us how they are reacting and sharing their thoughts with you?
I haven't talked to them that closely. They're obviously, in shock.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
And Mike?
Hey.
Well, a quiet afternoon in New London, and in a church that dates back a couple centuries, really just shattered in an instant when the roof collapsed, just crumbling down into a very busy area.
Yeah, you can see Mike Passero there, the mayor of New London, talking about the historic nature of this church and that a piece of their skyline will no longer be there. The bright side today is that just one person was inside. That person is okay. It was a woman who was working in the food pantry. The mayor saying that their surveillance and intelligence right now indicates that there was no one else inside that building and therefore no loss of life.
Yes, certainly some very good news there. And when you look at the damage that was done outside, it really could have been very bad for anyone walking by. They do not know why this happened right now. As you can see, Susan is talking with officials there at the scene, still very, very active. Inspectors there, firefighters. We did learn just moments ago here that Conn College has a dorm next door, and they are relocating students there to a nearby hotel, at least for the weekend.
Yeah, thankfully that building is structurally safe. No other buildings nearby also affected, but crews will be there overnight. As far as when that demolition will begin, the mayor's saying as soon as they can mobilize the demo team, that will happen.
And we have several crews there right now. We will stay on that scene as the demolition work gets underway and continues throughout the night. Our coverage will also continue right here on Eyewitness News.
alerting you to local dangers, covering the stories impacting your community. Trust Aaron Connolly and Mark Zinni every night on Eyewitness News at 11.
My skin has been so much smoother, so much more hydrated. It's Olay.
With Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, 95% of women had visibly better skin.
And my skin is so much more moisturized.
See the difference with Olay.
Sometimes Jonah wrestles with falling asleep, so he takes ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, and wakes up feeling like himself. Get the rest to be your best with non-habit-forming ZzzQuil. Better days start with ZzzQuil nights.
Men, it's the new year and a time to make positive changes in your life. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Northeast Men's Health today and be resolved to be done with ED. You see, ED can affect both you and your partner, causing stress in your relationship. But the good news is that if you're like most guys, you'll get your sex life back because we have treatments with success rates well over 90%. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. Call us today.
It matters that Lawrence and Memorial Hospital has over 750 physicians, plus access to hundreds of specialty programs affiliated with Yale School of Medicine. It matters that we specialize in state-of-the-art joint replacement and spine surgery, and provide advanced treatments for everything from heart disease to bladder and prostate cancer. Because having access to the very best is what matters most. Lawrence and Memorial Hospital, with the greatest of care.
No matter where you are in Connecticut, there's a Premier Subaru near you.
At Premier Subaru, not only do we have the inventory, our new Subarus are backed by our exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra charge. And for this month only, we have brand new Crosstreks for only $289 a month and brand new Foresters for only $325 a month, plus special financing rates. With over 300 new Subarus in stock, you're sure to find the one you want. Visit us online at buyatpremier.com.
Dean's has over 75 different burning models of wood, pellet, and gas stoves and fireplaces. Combined with our experienced sales staff who will help you pick out the best low-pi or fireplace extraordinaire that best fits your needs. Dean's Stove and Spa.
Welcome back, everyone. We continue to follow breaking news in New London. That's where emergency crews remain on the scene of a church collapse. These are pictures from an eyewitness, and just minutes ago, we heard from Mayor Mike Passero giving us an update.
Now, the collapse happened earlier this afternoon at the First Congregational Church and also Engaging Heaven Church on Union Street. Basically, it's two congregations that operate out of the one church. A few hundred years old here. We're working right now to learn a lot more about what happened. Several crews there. Stay with us right here on Eyewitness News and, of course, around the clock on the WFSB app. We do, though, right now want to go back to the very latest on the Michelle Troconis trial.
And today, jurors got to watch and listen to the first of 3 long interviews Michelle Troconis did with police investigators. This first interview lasted roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes. It happened back on June 2nd, 2019, just a little more than a week after Jennifer Farber-Dulos disappeared. Police had recently arrested Michelle Troconis, charging her with hindering prosecution and tampering with evidence. While questioning Troconis, police told her they needed her help to find Jennifer. During that interview, police would go on to say that Fotis killed Jennifer and that they have evidence, items belonging to Jennifer.
Now, at another point, detectives show her and her then attorney a picture of surveillance video taken in Hartford.
Is that you, Michelle? Is that Fotis?
Yes,
okay.
That's me.
Do you know what you're doing there?
Yes, I'm cleaning like this.
What are you cleaning the ground for?
Because I put my gum and I threw it and it was sticky.
Fotis comes and takes something from you and he throws it in the sewer. What was that? We see it on video.
Now, from that sewer, investigators previously testified of recovering a set of license plates belonging to Fotis that had been altered. And later in the interrogation, police admitted to trying to trick Troconis with some information that they had. A lot more on what they did coming up right here at 6.
New tonight at 5, a bright and talented dancer simply ate a cookie and then died.
It happened in Washington, Connecticut, in the Litchfield Hills. The cookies were bought at a Stu Leonard's, which is accused now of negligence.
Channel 3's Dylan Fearon is live outside a store in Newington after speaking to the family's attorney tonight. Dylan.
Well, Aaron, the family claims Stu Leonards is responsible for this woman's death. Orla Baxendale, just 25 years old with a severe peanut allergy, but the word peanuts was missing on the ingredients list.
Their conduct was willful. Their conduct was egregious.
A devastated family is ready for war with Stu Leonards after brilliant and gifted dancer Orla Baxendale died on January 11th.
Her death was 100% absolutely, completely preventable.
Mary Jo Adime is an attorney representing Orla's family. She says it was a bite of a vanilla Florentine cookie bought at Stu Leonards that allegedly killed Orla. The 25-year-old had an extreme peanut allergy.
Within a minute of taking a bite of the cookie, started having an allergic reaction.
Orla's friends injected her with an EpiPen, but it failed. Orla went into anaphylactic shock and died. Turns out the ingredient label on the cookies didn't include peanuts. The cookies used to be peanut-free. Not anymore. The label was never changed.
It's very unfortunate, you know. Somebody's got to pay for that.
Stu Leonards is on the defensive tonight, claiming proper officials weren't told the cookies now contained peanuts. But wholesaler Cookies United says Stu Leonards is lying, even showing us an email they sent 11 Stu Leonards employees back in July about the ingredient and label change.
All Stu Leonards had to do is do their job. They didn't.
Mary Jo says Orla was always vigilant when it came to food, that she had a peanut allergy since she was a baby.
They have to be very vigilant, but I guess at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot they can do if they're vigilant, but then the ingredient list isn't accurate.
Now, Stu Leonards is sticking by its original statement tonight that the proper people weren't notified about the ingredient and label change, but Orla's family will be filing a lawsuit against Stu Leonards. Live in Newington, I'm Dylan Fear, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And when it comes to the weather today, a little bit of a break in the action, a few breaks in the clouds, in fact. But first, our Futurecast showing another round of rain coming in tonight. It will be around as we head toward the morning commute tomorrow, but then quickly exiting. Otherwise, we end the week tomorrow with a cloudy sky through the afternoon, and it will be relatively cooler than today by 10 to 15 degrees, upper 30s, low 40s, inland 40 to 45 along the shoreline. Then for Saturday, certainly the pick of the weekend, as we've been outlining all week long, highs between 40 and 45 with some intervals of sun, but we're focused on Sunday. We've got our first alert for precip that starts as rain, goes over to a wintry mix, and then could end as some snow Sunday night into early Monday morning. So that could lead to some slick conditions for the Monday morning commute. Want to give you the first alert to that. Certainly we could be talking about measurable, maybe even plowable amounts of snow once we get past Sunday night. The story next week will be the downturn in temperatures, highs in the 30s, overnight lows in the teens and 20s. We'll have much more from Eyewitness News coming up on the other side of this break. Stay with us.